So, up next, we have something I am very excited about. We've been talking about the metaverse, we've been talking about industrial AI, and now we're going to pivot a tiny bit to talk about AR, augmented reality. Let's take another poll. I love a pop quiz. Who here thinks AR is the next big thing? Who thinks it's fake and hype? A couple people, okay, good. I love it when there's a split opinion because it means there's an opportunity to be convinced otherwise. And that's what this is all about, confronting new ideas and changing our opinions, perhaps even becoming more cemented in our previous views, but I hope not. So without further ado, let me bring up the guest for my next fireside chat. He is the president for EMEA at Snap. Please give a warm hub welcome to Ronan Harris. It's so great to have you here.
Thank you very much.
Now, Ronan, we're going to be getting into AR, VR. We're going to talk about whether or not it is the next big thing. I know you have a position on this. But first, for people who don't know you, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you come to Snap? I know you haven't always been there. Give us your short bio.
By the way, I noted who put up their hand and said they're not a believer. I'm coming looking for you later. Well, listen, first of all, sir, thank you for the warm welcome. I'm Ronan. I joined Snap about a year ago. As you might detect, I'm Irish in background. I'm an engineer by trade. And I spent the last kind of 18 years before Snap at Google, where I did a bunch of stuff for them.
Okay, very cool. So you're coming at this from an interesting techie background. Give us maybe 2 or 3 sentences in how AR differs from VR, because a lot of people use the terms interchangeably, and that's not fair.
Yeah, I think they do, and I think there's a lot of confusion about the differences and the applications. But, you know, augmented reality is about augmenting the real world around us. Virtual is about immersing yourself in a different space. And we've always been believers that if you can take a layer of digital content and digital information, and you can lay it on top of the world around us, we can make it more fun, more entertaining, but also more informative and educational as well.
Okay, fair enough. When we took our poll earlier, quite a few people put their hands up, and I'm going to make a confession. I am one of you. I do not see myself wearing weird goggles or glasses. They make me dizzy. Why are we wrong, Ronan? What are we missing here?
Well, I agree with you. So I don't think... So I mentioned that I worked at Google, and I, back in April of, I think, 2013, was handed a version of Google Glass. I still have them in my bedside locker. I think I wore them out in public maybe once or twice, but you know, they looked a bit weird and a bit scary. And I think until wearables become cool and stylish, you know, you're certainly not going to wear them, whatever about, you know, techies like me. So I think we've got to get to a point where, for it to be ubiquitous as a wearable, it's got to be stylish. But in the meantime, we've all got an AR-powered supercomputer in our pocket. And using your phone as that interface to augmented reality and overlaying that layer of digital content, I mean, that's possible today. It's a ubiquitous technology. You can interact with it when you want to, and it's not interfering between you and your experience of the world.
Okay, I'm willing to accept it as phone. Can you give me like an example of what that would look like? What would I be doing with my phone, and how would that help me in the AR universe?
Well, we've got what we call the AR Studio down in Paris. And this is an organization that tries to look for that boundary between culture and arts and entertainment and the world of augmented reality. And one of the experiences that's getting huge traction at the moment is with the Notre Dame. As everybody probably knows, that cathedral burnt down. They're in the process of rebuilding it. But if you're in the area now, you can take out your phone, you can point it at the building, you can see what it looked like before, you can see the plan for the rebuild, and you can interact with different aspects of that building to get stories about the history. So imagine you could do the same thing down the road with Checkpoint Charlie, right? You could have that same interactive experience. It would be fun and educational, and you'd see what it looked like before and as well as today.
Okay, I love that. That actually sounds very cool. So just sort of enhancing what's already there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're telling me I don't have to wear a headset for that?
You don't have to wear a headset. Just whip out your phone and you can get into it right away.
All right. I'm going to keep an open mind for this. Looking specifically at the future, when we're talking about AR, aside from Checkpoint Charlie and Notre Dame, what industries do you see the greatest opportunities for this technology?
So we kind of mentioned education. I think entertainment is another one. I was down at Cannes Lions last week. We had a partnership with Disney, who are celebrating their centenary, and we did an installation at Malmaison, the Croisette. And it was this wonderful experience where you could come on this tour through some of the great Disney stories over the centuries and immerse yourself into that content. So I got to dress up as a Mandalorian, which I know is everybody's secret wish. And you get to interact with it. And, I had CEOs and CMOs and policymakers from all across the region come through that exhibition. And, they're all very serious, and they come in the door, and within about 2 minutes of dressing up as a Mandalorian, they lose their shit, they're interacting, they're having fun, they're smiling, they're taking snaps, they're sending it to their friends. And I think that's the power of this technology. I think another place where it's going to have a lot of impact is in retail. And already we've got partnerships with German companies like Zalando. Volkswagen have just run an amazing campaign around the launch of the new ID.3, and it's bringing that immersive experience of their products out to consumers and helping them touch and feel it in a way that wasn't possible through technology previously.
Now, when you said retail, I perked right up. Are we talking like virtual try-ons?
We're talking virtual try-ons, and as many people might know, a key part of our technology stack around virtual try-on is actually from a German company that we acquired a few years ago, based here in Berlin, called Fit Analytics. And they've become part of our technology stack now called Augmented Reality Enterprise Services. And what we've done is we've taken all of the amazing technology leadership we've had in augmented reality for the last decade. We've packaged it up into an enterprise offering that e-commerce players can now take and plug into their existing infrastructure to give you, as a consumer, an opportunity to go and say, oh, what does this look like? What about these new pair of shoes or this latest jacket? We've had partnerships with Zalando, with Adidas, Nike, and what the retailers who are adopting the technology are finding is it's increasing the propensity to spend. If you look at something and say, oh, gosh, I like the color, this looks good.
Yeah.
And then through the Fit Analytics technology, you get something that's sent to you that's the right size. So the impact is driving the top line for retailers because they're seeing a higher propensity to purchase, often increased order value, but they're also seeing a lower return rate. And over 2/3 of people who use this technology as part of the purchase process are saying that they are less likely to return. And I know in Germany, you're kind of, maybe this is not a claim to fame, but it's the European leader in terms of the percentage of returns that are sent back. So I know you guys are avid shoppers, but also avid returners as well. And we're trying to fix that problem in this process too.
You got to please them, right? It's got to be right. It has to fit. Okay. I want to just sidebar here and say, I didn't realize having you dress up as a Mandalorian was an option for this talk. I feel like I've gotten short shrift. Next year, when you come back, come in the Mandalorian outfit.
We'll bring the Mandalorian.
Okay. Ronan, tell us what Snap is working on right now. Do you have anything top secret that you want to share with the audience?
Well, I couldn't reveal anything top secret, or I wouldn't be here next year for certain. But we're working on a few different areas. So I think, first of all, for our community, we're continuing to enhance features for them. We've been building out the Snapchat Plus offering. We've introduced a whole load of new community features for you to interact with your friends and family. We've also been working for our creator community. We've been introducing new opportunities for them to both generate content, build audience, and also generate an income as well. And then also for advertisers. So we've been building out new ad formats, both for brand advertisers as well as performance advertisers. So that combination of things is driving a lot of momentum in the platform. I joined Snap a year ago because I saw all of this potential, and now I'm seeing it turn into momentum. So I'm pretty excited by it.
That does sound exciting. Should we do a little audience poll? Who here is using Snap regularly? All right, that's more than I thought. Yeah, that's pretty good. So we got to convince the rest of them in the next 6 minutes.
So we've got over 15 million people come to the platform in Germany every month. And there is a perception out there that it's actually only for a much younger audience. Over 40% of our audience is 25 plus. We have 90% from 13 to 24 and 75% up to 34. So we've got quite a diverse audience. It's growing as well. So it's growing both in terms of numbers and also in terms of engagement. And we've been doing a lot of research into what's driving that growth, what's happening that in the online world that is drawing people towards us. And I think there's this shift, this vibe shift happening. And people are wanting to move away from this broadcast everything to everybody all of the time.
Yep.
And they're wanting to spend more time with their real friends and their real family.
Yeah.
They want to have real engagement and conversation. And Snap is a place you can do that. And it's private, it's safe. You know, the messages you post don't follow you around forever and infinity. And I think we're all quite excited about that prospect.
Yeah, that sounds very of the moment. I like the sound of that. Let's pivot from Snap, however much we both like it, and talk a little bit more broadly about the industry. You know, all afternoon we've been speaking about the metaverse. How big of a role will AR play in the metaverse?
So, thank you for asking the question the way in which you did, because AR is not part of the metaverse.
Okay,
right?
Say more.
So the metaverse is this virtual world that we may or may not immerse ourselves in.
Okay.
AR, augmented reality, is about being in the real world, right? So it's about finding a layer of digital information that you lay on top of the real world around you to make it more entertaining or more informative. So it's not about abstracting yourself, it's about staying in the real world, not going into the metaverse, and then finding ways to make it more, give more utility through digital information.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I appreciate you making that distinction. Talk to me for a minute about hardware, because you know we mentioned the Google glasses, not very cool. Where do we stand today in terms of necessary hardware for AR? We talked about the phone. What do the other options look like?
Yeah, so I think, I think wearable technology for AR is something that everybody is interested in. I think, to your point, as obviously an early adopter of great technology, it's got to look cool as well. It's got to be stylish. And I don't think we've hit that yet, right? So I don't think we're going to use these big immersive headsets to walk down the street.
Yeah.
We've got to get to a point where something looks a bit more like a pair of sunglasses and we feel cool doing it.
Yeah.
We've taken a slightly different approach. We have released a research piece of hardware called Spectacles into the development community.
So spectacles?
Yeah, and it does look a little bit like a pair of sunglasses.
Okay, all right.
And we've released it into the research community. We've got developers from 30 different countries that have been developing lenses specifically for spectacles.
Okay.
But the hardware format is not today somewhere where I'm going to be able to convince you that this is something you need when you walk around the streets of Berlin later.
Okay, all right. So I hear what you're saying. It's going to be on the phone first. It's already on the phone.
Yeah, you've got it in your pocket. So, and we're all very comfortable whipping out the phone, taking a photograph, augmenting it in some way with lenses and kind of colored pens and notes. And that's a behavior that already exists. I think it was something that really became adopted in a large scale by the community on Snap, because the app opens up to the camera.
Yeah.
You immediately see a carousel of augmented reality lenses at the bottom. Over 70% of the users in Germany who come to it every day are interacting with those lenses.
Huh.
So it's already happening. It's already becoming a new consumer behavior. And the exciting thing is advertisers and businesses are finding ways now to interact and take advantage of that new behavior in a way that drives their top and bottom line.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I wanted to ask you to put a timestamp on it and tell me what year we're going to be walking around with AR glasses, but it sounds like that might not even be the future. So instead, why don't you tell me which AR development you, Ronan Harris, are most personally excited for?
Most personally excited? Well,
yeah.
I talked about Disney earlier on, and I think, I think the very first movie I saw in a cinema was Star Wars. So I've been a fan of that storytelling and that series over many decades. So the opportunity to be able to everybody's got the little child inside them.
Yes.
So the opportunity to immerse yourself in the world of your favorite story and your favorite character, and to dress up or to place a Mandalorian or R2-D2 here on the stage beside us and watch them running around, I think is a lot of fun. So I really enjoy that.
Okay, so you're looking forward to the storytelling. I'm looking forward to the
You're
shopping.
looking forward to the shopping.
Yeah, virtual try-ons. I love it. You've completely sold me. Ronan Harris, the president EMEA for Snap. Thank you very much. Give Ronan a round of applause and clap extra hard if you want him to wear his Mandalorian costume next time.
Thank you, Sarah.